3, 2, 1.
It's just fired.
What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and I am here joined with Joe from 5 Yards. Now, we're going to get into 5 Yards a little bit, and they're going to explain who they are and what they're doing over on the Blue Boys Network. But first and foremost, I don't really want to talk about last night much, Everton fans, because that was absolutely horrendous. So, yeah, these videos will be really good. And Joe, do you want to fire away, mate? Tell us a little bit about 5 Yards.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me on the show. And I think this is a great start just for you guys to get introduced to 5 Yards. And I won't bore you because I realise it's the start. I'm not going to here to bore you with the intricacies. But essentially, 5 Yards, if you love academy football, if you're interested in becoming a football scout, if you're one of those people who you're there, you've been in the pub with your mates, and you've spotted a player and you're there talking about how you think he's going to be the next big thing, and you tell all your mates, and then 3 Jaegers later, all your mates have forgotten exactly or everything what you've just said. And when he does make it, you're left there. No one believes you that you backed him first and you spotted him and you back your academy scouting talents. And what 5 Yards do is that it makes sure that none of that happens ever again. It's there in writing forever on the internet that you backed that player before anyone else. And when he does make it, you get those rewards and you get that sense of, yeah, maybe I do know a little bit about football. So if you like academy football, back your ability in spotting talent, then 5 Yards is the place for you.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. And how does the platform work?
Essentially, we have a group of scouts, very dedicated scouts who do know a lot more about football than I do. Any league, from the Norwegian second division, these guys are on it with their facts and with their stats. And 5 Yards, what essentially it does is we're a database that collects players, young players, old players, and prices them up. And we like to think that our market prices are the most competitive out there. I don't think there's anyone else out there in the market that updates their prices as much as we do. We change our values twice a week. Nobody else does that. And that's and it's based on form and whether it's transfer news. So perhaps there's a young player who's rumoured to move to a bigger club. His price might change. His price might increase. If they're in good form, their price will increase. And the best example I can give is you take a Phil Foden. At the start of the season on our platform, he was 74 million, and now he's 93. So it's about inform. And you're like this. Trent Alexander-Arnold, his price has absolutely fallen quite recently because of his recent performances. So that's another reason why you guys just come onto the platform. The Liverpool players falling down. If that's all you want to come to 5 Yards for, we'll welcome you.
I'm worried that some Everton players will end up on there, like Ben Godfrey. You know, poor lad. He's been absolutely phenomenal this season. His rating would have definitely gone up, but then the whole team around him would drag his price down. I'm assuming that based on Everton form. Yeah,
no, funny you should mention Ben Godfrey is actually a really good example because a season ago, 2 seasons ago, when he's playing in the Championship, you look at him and his price is low because he's in a Championship club. And then the form he's been with Everton, his price has actually increased dramatically. So that's the beauty of 5 Yards. So if you're one of those people who's interested in the lower leagues, League One, Championship, the EFL, and you think it's about because clubs make signings all the time, and you think, well, what have we signed him for? If you think you can do a better club than the people in charge of transfers at your club, prove it. Come on to 5 Yards, have a little dabble, and prove you can make transfers like Ben Godfrey, because he's been an unbelievable signing, and his price actually does keep going up, and we've got a lot of people scouting him and looking at him. So yeah, he's a big one for us.
Another positive to you guys, and guys, don't think this is all about 5 yards. But trust me, I'm going to be talking about Everton and showing how it's all about Everton. It's just there's a bigger picture to all of this, guys. There really is. Obviously, you don't have tons and tons of millions of players on your platform yet, and you do a lot of it by market pricing. So, how exactly does it work, and why is it a good thing for 5 yards?
Yeah, so that's part of the reason we're able to be so up to date with our market is that we don't have thousands and thousands and millions of players on the platform yet. That's why we're able to keep track of players that are doing well, keep track of transfer market values and transfer rumours to adapt their prices. But we're always looking to get more players on. We add new players every week, which is another great part of our site. I don't think many other places do that. We're adding every week to it. There's an option actually on 5 yards, which is perhaps one of the greatest things about us. And really, it gives you the chance to really become a football scout. You can request any player from any league, from any division at any age. And there's a little box that you put in their name and the club that they play for, and it gets sent to our scouts. And slowly, because there are a few, it's only a small team of scouts, and we get quite a lot of requests, but slowly we get through them and add those players. So I think one example is towards the start of launch, we had someone request someone from Ipswich Town's under 16s, and you sort of look at it like, how much is there on this guy to even scout or see? And he's actually become one of the most scouted players on the platform purely because people are so interested on him, and we got him on, and that's part of the excitement. Someone thinks this lad from Ipswich Town under 16s is going to go all the way and make it to the top, and who are we to say that he's not? So we add him, we get him on, and you might like academy football, whether it's from Everton's under 18s. If there's a player you've spotted, you can request him, and eventually we'll add him on, and then you will have that. I was the first one to request him. I was the first one to get him up and write that scout report. And 4 years later, whack it up on Twitter to prove everyone how good you are at spotting football and how much you know. That's part of the fun.
Yeah, well, I'll send you a name after this because it'll be interesting to see if he's on the platform already. But if he's not, it's a guy called Thierry Small who's 16 years old, plays in Everton under 23. So it'll be interesting to see if he's on there. Where and why should they check you out after this?
Why not? Well, like I said before, if we all love football, but how much do we actually know about football? I mean, we all like to claim we know loads about football, but this is a chance to actually prove it. Why not go out there and prove that you can spot a player, that you know football? The amount of times you look at transfers your club makes or the rumours that are coming through, and you're like, why him? Why are we rumoured with him? And you can slag off your clubs, the people who run the transfers, but there's no point slagging them off and saying that you can do a better job without actually proving it. And that's what 5 yards does in writing. It's a chance for you to build your portfolio of scouting. We run a monthly Scout of the Month competition. It refreshes at the start of every month. You scout a select number of players, and the winner gets cash prizes. And you can enter the Scout of the Month competition for free. So why not do that as well? So yeah, come check us out, 5yards.co.uk. It's good fun over there.
Yeah, brilliant. The links will be in the description below, guys. And as I say, we will be working with 5 yards over the next couple of weeks. And I and John potentially, depends on, if he really wants to get his oar into it, but I will certainly be picking players for various different positions and seeing how they increase and change. And working with 5 yards a little bit over that. Hopefully we'll see them a few times in the summer with some scouting reports potentially. So it's a really, really good relationship that we've got here with 5 yards. And these guys are going to really help our channel as we are going to try and help them, guys. So go and support them. Go over to the website and start looking at your portfolios and your scouting of players now. Joe, thank you ever so much for coming over. Is there anything you want to ask or mention to any of the blood-baying Everton fans who are screaming at their football team right now?
Well, we spoke a little bit before about the squad depth of Everton that Everton have and the lack of. So if you guys just want to check through our players, perhaps that you might think, but what I really want to ask of them is, like I said, we see these requests come through. We may not get them up straight away, but we can see all of them as they come through. So if you are listening and there is a young player that you think either at Everton currently in the academy, or you think a nice young player from it, maybe from the EFL or from a foreign league that you think would be good, a good signing for Everton, go on to 5 Yards now, request him, and we can next time if I come on again, we can have a little chat about some of those players that your fans and your listeners and your watchers have admired, and that's all good fun. So yeah, that's my task to you guys. If you want to go do that, I'm sure we'll see them, and we can see who you guys want at Everton.
Joe, thank you, mate. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully, we'll see you very soon back on the Blue Boys Network.
I hope so. Thank you.
Cheers, Joe. There you go, guys. That was Joe from 5 Yards. Absolutely fantastic lad. He knows his stuff. 5 Yards are going to be teaming up with us. It's going to be great because we're going to be talking about transfers. And we wanted someone like that to talk with us about our transfer show, the Talking Transfers. Now, let's get straight into it. Let's talk about Everton Football Club. Jesus wept. Where do we start? Everton last night were a disaster. Squad depth out the window. Substitutions, because obviously lack of players may be an issue. So for me, yeah, I weren't sold on it. It'll be a very interesting summer. You know, we've been linked with several players, and I don't see the point of going over them and over and over, and there's just no point. But what I would say is, look, from an Everton perspective, we've got to strengthen. I mean, Jesus, we've got to strengthen, because if we don't strengthen, we're just going to go backwards. I had a really good discussion earlier with Connor from One Leeds fan channel. He picked up on something. He actually made a comment. He made a comment. I just want to bring up his conversation. And he basically, it was following what I said in my match reaction, I think it was. And he said, you made me laugh when you said, why don't we get Basuma? And he essentially was implying that there's going to be massive teams in for Basuma, and why would he join Everton? And this was a debate I wanted to have with you guys. Obviously, we know Everton have got the money. We know we've got the ambition. We know we've got at least the right name of manager. I think there's a lot of people on the fence about Carlo at the minute, and for me, he still gets another year yet. You know, he still gets another transfer window. Look at the squad depth. I think he really struggled, but it was a fair point with what he made. If Everton don't progress into Europe, why do these really good players come and join Everton? Is it just because of the new stadium, Carlo Ancelotti was showing a little bit of ambition? Or is it for a payday? And then if that is the case, is that what we want at Everton Football Club? You know, do we want players joining us simply because they're going to earn more money at Goodison than they would do for their current clubs? And that's the issue that I think Everton really genuinely do have. I don't know at this moment in time what sets us apart from, say, a Spurs, who are equally going to need to strengthen. And that's the bit that worries me. You know, we've got Carlo Ancelotti, who is a great name, has got great pull power. You know, we've seen it with James Rodriguez. We've seen it with Alan. But is that going to make us sign someone when we're going up against Chelsea or Man United? I don't know. And that's my worry. I think Everton certainly need a right back, although Seamus Coleman last night was probably, in my opinion, the best Everton player on the pitch. I'll give him man of the match. But we definitely need a new right back. But more importantly, we need a ball-carrying midfielder. You know, we need a ball-carrying midfielder, because Decore doesn't necessarily do that. Alan certainly doesn't do that. Andre Gomez doesn't do it. Sigurdsson doesn't do it. So we need a Jesse Lingard type of player, a Dele Alli, someone who is prepared to get the ball to feet and just carry the ball forward. You know, we saw Basuma for Brighton. in our box, at the edge of our box, at the edge of their box, defending, carrying the ball, being aggressive, being quick. Really, really good player. And there is players out there who can do that. You know, Anguissa at Fulham can do it. Loftus-Cheek, who's currently on loan. You know, there's lots of players who can carry a ball. Everton just seem to lack them. We lack ball-carrying players, full stop. You know, James Rodriguez, phenomenal footballer, beautiful technician of the ball. But there's no doubt he's better when he takes that touch, gets it out of his feet and looks for that pass or that shot. He's not necessarily a ball-sprinting midfielder. He's not that type of player. And we massively lack that. We massively lack that. And when you include the squad depth, it's just not good. So for me, Everton need to identify 2 key areas. 1, right back. We know that. 2, the midfield, because it needs a winger in there. It needs another ball carrying midfielder in there. And then some people are going to argue we need a striker. I possibly think if we get more goals from midfield, we don't need as much emphasis on another striker. But I certainly understand the reason why. You know, a more experienced striker, a different style of striker, someone who can get between the lines, break it up, shoot from 30 yards. You know, Calvert-Lewin, most of his goals have been in the box this season, if not from headers. Richarlison does that. You know, we don't have goal scorers from outside the box anymore. Even Gylfi Sigurdsson, who would chip in with a screamer, doesn't really do it anymore. Luca Dean doesn't score that many goals from the left-hand side anymore because the onus has always been on him to go forward and deliver a ball and not necessarily cut inside and shoot. You know, I want to see Everton attacking from midfield more often. And at the minute, we don't. We do not do it. And that's what disappoints me about this Everton side. But again, how can you argue with the fact that last night we had a bench of 8 players and only 6 of them, I think, had made... Well, yeah, I think only 6 of them had been put on the bench because we needed players. You know, we were 1 sub short. 2 of the people on that bench had played for the first team, being Nkunku and Iwobi. Iwobi did nothing when he come on. He should have brought on Nkunku, in my opinion. Just my opinion. You know, loads of people are slagging off Carlo Ancelotti. And I get it because the style of play is horrendous. But what is he meant to do like last night? Don't get me wrong. There's been games where Carlo's cost us, in my opinion. There really has. There really has been games where he has cost us. But last night, I can't put that down to Carlo. I put that down to 5 years of mismanagement. I put it down to poor transfers from Ronald Koeman, Steve Walsh, Sam Allardyce, Marco Silva. You know, I put it down to some horrendous decision-making. I don't put last night down to Carlo, although I thought he could have given Nathan Broadhead a lot more minutes than 5 minutes. He could have brought Nkunku on to offer us something different at 60 minutes. And Iwobi, yeah, well, there you go. So that's what I sort of think of last night and the transfers that Everton needs. And again, it's about linking people with names. And you know, Norwich are getting promoted, it looks like. Is Max Aaron's going to join Everton from a newly promoted side when he's going to play in the Premier League anyway? You know, he might have some big offers. Is he going to move? And this was why Connor's opinion earlier was so good, because he is an outsider. He hasn't got anything against Everton. He likes Everton. We get on, we're friends. He's not digging me out. But he was saying, you know, ask yourself, why are these people going to join Everton? And it's a difficult question to answer. You know, do they want to come to Everton and play boring football? Will that be the case next season with more players? I do not know the answer. It's a really, really, really difficult assessment. And this is why, you know, I'm quite looking forward to teaming up with 5 Yards, because I get to look at things a little bit more in depth, and I'm quite looking forward to that. But there's a lot of things at Everton that need changing, and it's not Carlo's the least of our worries. You know, for a lot of Everton fans that are not a lot, say 10% of the fan base that are saying Carlo should go. Remember, this is a guy on £13 million a year. It cost us £26 million to sack him. I would never want to sack Carlo Ancelotti until he's been given the appropriate time to build up his own team, and that does take time. If this time next season we're in the same boat and he's gone and spent 100 million or whatever amount of million on players, then yeah, we can probably argue that maybe it's not worked. But right now, I think it's too early. Last night was horrendous. Obviously, we've got the Tottenham preview tomorrow. We're going to have a few Tottenham fans on the channel as well at different points. So, we'll have Holly Agombar, so make sure you go and subscribe to her. We'll have Tapping Tobes, really good bloke. He's on the Big Six every Monday night, I think it is. Well, I watched last night. So, he's a good lad as well. And we'll have a proper debate because Tottenham are in a very similar boat to we are. And I know that's not necessarily talking transfers type show, but, Harry Kane's available, so why not sign it? I know, I'm a twat as well. So you've got that. And in terms of Everton overall, Gabarmin's back injured. Delph, I don't think will be in a blue shirt next season. There's going to be a lot of players on the wage bill that I think will disappear next season. I think somebody wrote it down. It could be up to 13 players could go. Obviously, that did include Cenk Tosun, who will not be leaving Everton now. So, I don't know. I just think it's a mess. I think Carlo's inherited a mess. I feel a bit sorry for Carlo, but I also don't think Carlo's helped himself in certain games. So, I can't sit here and defend it. We have been linked. We've been linked to some really big players, Koulibaly, Martinez. I don't know. The difficulty for me doing these videos is just after last night, you feel really shit. Like, I feel awful. I don't know about you guys, but I feel shit. I feel like over the last 4 games, we threw our season away. We've picked up 2 points from 4 games. And those games, yes, I think one was Chelsea away, fair enough. But Burnley, Brighton and Palace, and we've picked up 2 points. And now we're going into a run of fixtures that is difficult. In the next 7 games or 8 games, we've got to play Aston Villa twice, who aren't a bad side. They'll probably have Jack Grealish back. They look a different team with Jack. We've then got to play Arsenal, who look like they've turned a corner to a degree. Then we've got Tottenham, obviously, on Friday. We've got to play West Ham. We finished with a game at Manchester City. I could see us losing all of those games. I could see us losing to West Ham, Arsenal, Tottenham, Villa at home. I'm worried about our away form now because I think that's carried us this season and it's not been as great in the last few games. And then Manchester City. So that's 6 games. That's 6 games. I can't see Everton winning. Where will Everton finish if we lose 6 games? So, yeah, I really don't know. I'm really worried about it, but yeah, I'm not going to go on about it. And I didn't want this video to go on and on and on. Obviously, I wanted to introduce 5 Yards to you because it's a good relationship for this channel, and it's something that I think is quite fun and interactive. So get over to them and support them. But yeah, obviously Friday we kick off against Spurs, and obviously again there is meant to be a talking transfer show on Thursday at 8:00, on Friday at 8:00. So what you might find is talking transfers will either be a halftime show, 15 minutes, or we'll postpone it until next Tuesday. Let me know in the comments what you want me to do, guys. Also, huge thank you to the support last night. At one point, we had 600 viewers watching us live, which is madness. The channel is growing at a rate of knots, and that's all down to you. The donations were crazy. So, again, thank you ever so much, guys. I really, really appreciate it. And, yeah, I'll see you soon for the next one, guys. Peace.